that's fine.
Okay, well, hi there. This is Phil Simborg, USBGF Teaching Pro, and I've got a checker play here, a normal match score, what we call a normal match score, because it's 11 away, 11 away, very much like money, and red to play a 3-2. And the reason I've got my coach and mentor, Perry Gartner, with me today is because when I have very complicated checker plays or plays that I don't understand, Perry, I have found, can explain them as well or better than anybody in the world, and really helps me understand it. Now, I have to be honest with you, over the board, I did this play wrong. I got it completely wrong, and I'm not going to give you a hint. You can pause this recording and take as much time as you like and decide what play you would make. You're red, and you have a 3-2 to play, this is your bearing into this area and bearing off here. See what you can come up with, and then I'll be happy to tell you what I did wrong, and then Perry can tell you what you should do to come up with the right play here and what the right play is. So take a few seconds to think about it, and I'll stop for a minute. Okay, we're back. And again, if you need more time, pause the recording. I saw immediately that I with all these blots around the board, I don't really have much of a play. I can't make a point. It made a lot of sense for me to put the second checker up on the bar, and there's just no question that that's the right play. The real question is where to play the 2. I had absolutely no idea, and I want to tell you that I played it wrong. And before I give any more away, I'm going to just be quiet now and let Perry tell us how he would approach this problem over the board and how you would come to the right play in this position. And by the way, Perry's process, well, I think will help you in all kinds of checker plays. Perry, it's all yours.
Okay. Well, good evening. I'd like to get back to what Phil said initially, that is the play being automatic to hit on the 3-point. And I think if we recognize why that is, that'll help us go further. What we can see here, this is me on here, right, Phil? Phil?
What do you mean this is me?
Oh, the cursor. Okay, you can't see my cursor. Okay.
No, we can't see your cursor.
So I can't control your board. You have to do it, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So I'll just describe it then. What we see here is that the 2-point made and the 6-point made with a gap on the 3, 4, and 5, and that immediately tells us that it's very difficult to form a prime here soon enough. And the fact that your opponent is on the 3-point, if he makes that point, there are 13 of those if we leave him, right? 11 threes and a 1-2, then there's a 4-1 and a 5-1 that make the 4 or 5 point. That's half the deck roughly. So that puts us into a really awkward position because we've lost those 2 checkers, and that would immediately bring to mind that we really need to take him off that point and make that point. So this becomes kind of what we call an attacking game plan or a blitzing game plan.
And by the way, there are 3 basic primary game plans: racing, priming, and hitting. And hitting can be broken down into several types, but what Perry is alluding to here, saying, is that before you decide on the checker play, take a strong look at what your game plan is. And both Perry and I agreed that your game plan here has to be a hitting game. That, coupled with the fact, all the things that Perry said, we have 2 interboard points and he has 1. That's another strong reason why you would want to play a hitting game.
And that also plays into what would happen later on. If you do make this point, you really don't have to close all those points, because then if for example, he comes in on the ace, even if he makes the ace or even another point, he'll be more cautious in hitting you because you'll have more points than he has. So you don't really have to go all the way to win this game, and the cube is in the middle. In fact, you could come to a cube turn earlier if he doesn't anchor up very soon. So let's hit him there, Phil.
By the way, another reason to hit is I don't see really great alternative plays. Sometimes, even though you got the shot, there might be something wonderful you could do with the 3-2 elsewhere, like make the 5-point or make the bar point. But you don't have that option here, so that's another reason. That's another reason that screams at hitting.
Right. So now the question becomes, what are your priorities? I really gave away the priority. The priority is to make the 3-point. The twos that you have, the choices are the following. We can start at the 8-point. You have 8 to 6, or 9 to 7, or 13 to 11, or 15 to 13, or 22 to 20. So those are the twos. We have a choice of twos. But in an attacking game plan or hitting game plan, that where it's important to follow up, and here it is. You certainly don't want to get hit here. He's got a little bit of structure with his 9-point, and it puts you back in the race. So you certainly want to cover as soon as you can. And by bringing the checker into the 6-point, let's bring him in, Phil. Looking at that, could you guess, Phil, how many covers you have here?
Well, quickly? I know I have 27 covers with 3 numbers plus combinations from that. So I start with 27, and I have double 1 is 28, and 2-1 is 30. Plus I have a 4-1 is 32, and a 5-1 is 34. It almost looks like everything but a double 4 covers.
Well, you're wrong about that.
There it is. Okay, the double 4 covers. Looks like everything covers.
36 covers. So what that tells you right away is that you can't do better than that in terms of covers. And over the board, can you do equal to that? No, you can't do equal to that if you don't have a 3. So over the board, that should immediately give you the answer in terms of covers.
Well, I came up with 37 covers initially, so I knew something must have been wrong.
Right. So it's kind of quick to get this one over the board. We can look at the other plays and see what the advantages are very quickly.
Well, first of all, let me tell you what an idiot I was. I made this play. I said to myself, I looked around the board and I got scared that I had so many blots, and I thought I had plenty of covers anyway. And so I saw a way to pick up a blot, and I didn't see anything else productive, and I just didn't realize that I needed this extra cover.
Well, if you look at 6s and 5s, that's 28. You're not going to come up with as many covers total as you are. You're not going to add up to 36, right? With the 6s and 5s. You can count them.
Oh, it's obvious. It's obvious this is more covers. I was also taking away the double 3 joker. I was worried about the double 3 joker. Well, at least it was the only joker I could really see for him. So I figured I would make it harder for him. I guess that's 1 out of 36 compared to all you gain here. And another point, if I could add it, you probably were going to get there, and I hope I'm not usurping this. But what happens if he does roll a 3?
That's just what I was going to get into.
Okay, then I'll be quiet and let you do that.
Counting returns. If you look at if you were to take time out and to count those returns, and Phil has got his own quick rule of thumb or formula to do it, and I have my own. If you look at the returns and compare the returns,
let's say he comes in with a 3 and puts you on the bar.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You actually have let's see. You have something like 29 returns this way, and probably, I haven't counted them, but a lot less the other way, maybe 10 less the other way, 9 or 10 less. So you're without a 3. The returns are a lot less.
And by returns, what Perry means is that if you had rolled a 3 and hit, you still probably want to play a hitting game, and you would like to come in and hit it even again. And with this play, you can come in and hit it with coming in with a 3, 5, or a 6. And with my lousy play, you only come in and hit it with a 5 or a 6.
Right. We'll make one reservation to that is that you don't necessarily want to hit them with all returns, but it does give you the more options than having 10 less returns.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have all those options over the board. You don't have time to think it out which returns we're going to hit them with. But so just over the board, the fact that you have the covers and those returns makes this clear. But what I'd like to do is demonstrate some other principles that would come into play with very slight variations in this position. Let's put the original position back full. Okay, and let's take the checker on the 15, your double 3 checker on the 15, and put them on the 6 point. Now you're further ahead in the race, and my question is, what is the right 2 here? I mean, you're going to hit with a 3, right? So you're hitting with a 3, and what is the right 2 here?
Okay. Well, if you bring this down, you're not getting another direct cover. If you bring this here, you're actually reducing your covers because it's going from 6 to 4. If your other option is to move up to the 20 point, why would I move up to the 20? Because I'm winning the race, and if I get hit back, I can make a higher anchor. So I don't see anything productive on this side of the board, and I can see a reason to move to here. I would play 20-20.
Okay. Well, you want me to comment on it, or do you want to put it in?
Well, let's run it and find out, and you can comment on it too. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see if it's right.
Okay.
It's the only productive play I can see. I don't know.
Well, actually, 13 and 11 is either equal or slightly better.
Looks like mine is slightly better.
Yours is slightly better. Yours is slightly
according
better.
to plus. According to plus. It could change here at the roll-up.
Right. Yours is slightly better, and the reason for that is
so I redeemed myself just a little bit here.
Right, and the reason for that, you gave one reason, but another reason is the checker on the 22 is partially primed. You know, it's difficult for that checker on the 22 to move into the outer board without having two of the dice, right, rather than one. So that's another reason for it. So let's. Well,
my focus has shifted, like you said. My focus might be when I get away with this, I want to play a running game, and that's that. It's not. You might not entirely be playing a hitting game.
Right. Let's look. Right. Let's look at one more. Let's take a checker. Let's put that back. That checker back. And let's take a checker off the 8 point now. Onto the mid.
Okay.
Now, what would you do here with the 3 you're hitting, right?
Yeah.
So hit with a 3.
Well, you know, with the big stack on the midpoint,
Well, hit with a 3. You're going to hit with a 3, are you not?
Yeah, I know. I know I'm hitting with the 3.
Right.
But I'm trying to figure out where to play the 2, and
right.
I'm thinking the 2 might come off of the 13 simply because it's stacked, and it gives me an 8 to cover. Let's see. I had 5-3. I had 6. No, I didn't have 6-2. It gives me 6-2 and double 4 to cover that I didn't have before. Yeah, I'm playing 13-11. I'm hitting with the 3 and playing 13-11.
Why aren't you playing 8-3 in this position?
Oh, I am playing 8-3. That's
you're playing 6-3.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm playing 6-3.
Right.
And I'm playing.
Why not put a spare on the 6 point?
I don't want to strip the 8 point.
Why?
Why? Well, uh, double fours hits me there. The 8 points is a valuable point.
Well, let's do it, Phil. Let's take a look at it.
There's another reason why. You ask me why. If he comes in and hits, and I have to hit him off the 8, I don't have that checker there anymore. You could be right. I don't know.
I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Okay. Well,
one of my
big reasons for playing 13-11 is I'm seeing more and more when you have stack points to unstack them. You have a more robust game. Let's find out.
Well, I know that you're right, but I want to still put the guy. I want to demonstrate something by showing it.
Okay.
8 going 8 to 3.
All right. My play was right. 8 to 3 is wrong.
Right.
Let me
Please go 8 to 3.
Okay. 1 second. Let me plus and let's see how wrong it was. Okay. So you want me to play 8 to 3?
Right. I just want to show this because the correct move in the original position was 8 to 3.
Yeah.
And the fact that we took a builder off makes it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you gave one of the reasons, but a more important reason, I believe, is the fact that this position, leaving a blot a direct away, the way you have, has two downfalls. One is when he comes in, it's more difficult to clean up your act that way. If he comes in on 3, 4, or 5, there are 16 numbers that come in with 2. If he comes in and you have 8 and 9 point blots facing him, it's much more difficult to clean it up there. So that's one reason. The other reason is it's really important to have an anchor there so that you have somewhere to play from the midpoint. And the last reason is that it is a blocking point for later on if he does come in. So all of those reasons, in addition to your reason of having the builder come down from there, makes this a different play than the initial play. So moving that builder away has implications for many types, or rather many variations of attacking or hitting games, where you need to choose between giving up a point like that, like an 8 point or a 9 point, or hitting from it.
Gotcha.
That's
makes perfect sense.
Okay, so that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have.
Okay, so in summary, Perry's approach that he has drilled into me, and I drill it into all of our students. Perry and I are partners in a teaching group called the Backgammon Learning Center, with is myself and Perry and Stick and John O'Hagan as the teachers, and David Rockwell advises. We drill into all of our students, and as you can see, I don't always do it right. I'm sure Perry made a mistake once in his life too on a checker play. We don't get everything perfect. But if you always use the right approach, and the approach is to think about your overall game plan first, and we all agreed that the game plan was hitting, and then how to execute it, Perry, I think, is a master at looking at what happens on the next roll of your opponent and then your own next roll, which is what he calls the most common variation of what's most likely to happen on the next 2 rolls. And most of the time you can get the answer from that. And my failure in the original position was not going far enough and deep enough into the logic that of having the extra builders that you get with the correct play, and that's where I missed it. I redeemed myself a little bit on the other questions because I got those right, but part of the reason I got them right is because I knew I was being tested, and I put more time and effort into it. And I promise you that if I had been given a test on that original play, I would have gotten it right. And I think that's the biggest lesson of all. When you're playing over the board, if you take more time and you think carefully and you use your noodle, you use what you already know, you're less likely to make errors. And I probably, like most people, don't take every play seriously enough and think about every single play as a test to get it right. And if I did and took more time, I'm sure I would play better, and so would everybody else. That's one of the reasons that I love playing with the clock, so that people can't take unlimited time but you still need to take a lot more time. And this one, I do understand. I would have gotten it right. I hope Perry's explanation helped you. I hope you took away some good lessons from this. And
So,
Perry, yeah.
let me just give my summary in a sense. Everything you said, I certainly agree with. Once you decide this is an attack, a blitz, all you need to do is look for the maximum covers in a position like this, in an early game position like this. You don't have many checkers back. So it's just all about calculating the number of which play gives you the best number of covers.
I got you. And that's another really good point that I learned when I interviewed Matt Krongeyer a few years ago, and asked him what traits he had that he thought made him a top player. Was it his incredible math skills, his great memory, his intelligence? He said none of the above. It's the ability to focus on the key issue and ignore the noise. Well, Perry just pointed out, when you're playing an attack game, the key issue is being able to cover, being able to keep attacking, being able to have the best attacking game. And here I was playing a cleanup game and playing a safer game as opposed to playing the strongest attack game. So I didn't focus enough on the key issue here. I hope you did, and I hope you got something good out of this, Perry. Thank you for your time. As usual, you've done a lot of these with me for the USBGF. I appreciate all you've done in donating your time and effort for our little club here of backgammon players, and we'll certainly have you back again in the future. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Phil, and we all appreciate what you've done as well.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.